Okay, team, what's up? So, this Saturday I'm not going to be here for scrims. I have another birthday thing, fun stuff. So I figured, since I'm pretty sure some of you guys have not played this map yet, or don't remember how to play this map, and have never played this map with us on BV, I figured I'd go over it just real quick, and also for anybody who'd like to watch it on my YouTube, just period. So I'm going to start off on offense. I'll be going through each point individually, offensively and then defensively, and then moving on to the next point. So it's pretty simple. So first point here, I'll do callouts first. Truck, obviously. This is hill. This is rock, very important call. I don't know if this has a call out at all. People usually just call this flank or right or left depending on defensive, offensive perspective. This is like the drop down area here pretty much, and then this whole area here I don't think really has much of a call out. You would just say on the flank. Then we have the fence spot. This is very important, and in tunnel, I guess, is the only other thing that would really matter for first. So for first, offensively, actually I guess just start defensively first because that's determines how to do offenses. So defensively, normally you have a heavy and a dispenser that's sitting right here. This spot kind of got nerfed a little bit, it looks like, because before you used to be able to like head peek this and you wouldn't be able to see this far across point. And as it stands right now, a sniper can pretty easily get up to here and shoot a heavy that's head peeking this, so I don't think that's going to be the meta spot anymore. It's probably just going to be more passive heavy, hold probably around this rock here and whatnot. If you see a heavy here, that's the easiest way to counter him, though, is just to have Kaminglia snipe him from on top of that shack there. The gun usually sits around here or here in the main. This is a soft hold for defense because it's kind of, as you can see, very sniper dominant. So like once our sniper elite dies or like our engineer loses a gun, then we probably want to leave there. A super strong sniper spot is, I don't know if you can even do this anymore. You used to be able to jump on top of this rock, and yeah, you can pretty much see all of point when you're on top of this rock. Putting your sniper here, if you can do that with the teleporter exit, probably around here or an entrance, that looks like it might be doable. I don't know, you might try that out in pregame or something like that. Even so, just on the ground here is pretty strong, and pretty much what happens is your goal is just to force them if possible. It's not a big deal if you don't get the force, and just stalk cart as much as possible. Our flank should be playing over here, which should be Waimio and June. They've both played this map, they know what to do pretty much. You just play around this area here on this mini pill. If we lose the flank, that needs to be called instantly because then they can just walk at us through this crazy high skybox thing. The high skybox in this map is large in general, so look up a lot for high soldier bombs. Yeah, so it's a pretty soft hold for defense. As soon as the cart gets to like all the way down there, I'd say it's probably time to leave and get the strong second hold set up. Offensively, you have a couple of options for what's going to be happening. If they're doing a gun over here on the left side, you can pretty easily just spam it blind right here as Demo Man with pills. Just practice that angle a little bit, I guess. If the gun's over there, it's also pretty easily spammed out. You want to make sure that that we first commit to pushing their flank out of the side area here, otherwise the soldiers are just going to be shooting rockets down at you. And also, once we've cleared that area out, then we have to make sure that we don't get sniped coming out. So the safest way for the med to come out that has actual impact is this far left side. The only issue is the sight line right here. This sight line here, which is to the right of the rock. And then once you get up to here, oh wait, did they fix that? They did fix that. Alright, well this used to be a sightline, but that's really the only sightline issue. But that's probably where most snipers are going to be looking anyway at this point, so yeah, you can't even actually really see that very much anymore, but if you're on a teleporter then maybe. There's a shit ton of decloak spots. That's the biggest thing on first that always fucked us last time we played this. And I think they've added more. So, like, I already showed you can jump onto this shack here. You can jump onto this truck here. This entire rock you can pretty much get on top of as spy and shit. There's a little corner right here for God knows what reason. This whole entire area here has a bunch of little nooks and crannies a spy could just be cloak and daggered and waiting. Another huge one is if you've already finished pushing, they can just like decloak in this bush and shit. Any of these little bushes right here are really strong. And yeah, but generally our goal, if they're hard holding this with most teams, then feel free to exchange and try to box them out here. It's pretty easy to just, if they try to escape going up the hill, then it's pretty easy to catch them. If they go through tunnel, it's a little bit harder, but if you're fast, we can push hill fast from that. But yeah, first is a pretty soft hold for both teams, I would say, because the second hold is very strong. So defending for second, the gun usually sits either here. I've seen some engineers put the gun here. The spot is not really that good because sniper sight line there. Or like in passive around this shutter right here. The reasons for this spot, I would prefer having it in this spot here because the way that this hold generally works best, and it hasn't changed really at all from previous versions, is usually what happens is I will just sit on this hut here or on this rock, crouched, big thing crouched because this is a pretty dumb sniper sight line here, to shoot anybody that's on cart, and then pretty much the rest of our team is going to be rotating between holding on slope or rotating to hold this elbow right here, because those are really the only two viable places to Uber out of for this point, and it's very hard to do that without any sort of numbers advantage. And also, if we're 9-man botting around places, it's very easy for me to hold this alone. It really should just be only me holding this alone with a level 3 gun. If we don't have a gun, I need somebody to be rotating over here whenever I call, if there's an engineer or a heavy, for example, that's going to be fast peeking this. I also very much would like a dispenser like on this area here, not back here. Back here is kind of a waste. What else? So the default hold is to hold around this corner here. We should have our sniper here as well that should be able to scout if a sniper goes into this area over here. That's really the only reason we would be scared of this area, because the sniper can see us holding on this right side here. And also, it should be very easy to see because the only way to do that... Ooh, boy, oh boy. Okay, let's ignore that just happened. Yeah, so the only way you can get over there is through this, and this is a sight line that you should be able to be watching constantly, pretty much. A lot of times you'll see a soldier and scout go in there, and that's really not a big deal. You can just buff June or Mio or Johnny, and they can pretty easily just walk in there and push anything out that's in there. So yeah, so generally speaking, we don't really want to take offensive Ubers here at all, because there's like all of this area you're going to be taking an Uber into, so it's not really going to work out very well once you get out of this choke area. But you can do offensive Ubers through here because this is such a tight area, especially if you just take like, you don't even have to take May. I would say a June Johnny Uber would be stronger than like a May Uber in this area here, because if May dies, then it's very easy for them to just rotate up through there and do a fast push up the slope while we're offensive Ubering through here. So it's, generally speaking, when we played this last, it would be like a Johnny Air Blast and Flame Uber solely, just to keep them into this tunnel. And then once they realize that they can't push this, they fast rotate up to there. Then we already have May waiting up here with myself and whoever else was already up here, like Wymeo, to push into them. So that's generally defensively what happens. The important thing is to know where they're going to be rotating around and stuff. That's a very important call. We need to know their location at all times, pretty much, for this area here. If they're just sitting here, don't say that they're in tunnel, for example. Yes, they can come through here pretty quickly through tunnel, but it's also pretty fast for them to go slope. So yeah, don't really worry about that. If they Uber tracks, I'll be calling that, and they might die if they just Uber a heavy here. And if that happens, you guys just pretty much have to chill for a bit once you've cleared off tracks from this high ground here. Make sure that nothing comes through elbow and gets behind through shutter or something like that, and also through slope, obviously. It's a lot like holding upward second pretty much, because you're holding above the point and rotating between going elbow and going down into them onto first, but not overcommitting into first. So yeah, offensively, if we are holding off Uber, this is the safest place to hold by far for our entire team. We're generally speaking, what this comes down to is very much like upward first. We're waiting for a sniper pick or a demo pick, because without those two picks, it's impossible to push slope. We generally speaking don't like to do the elbow Uber because the pyro can stuff it very easily, and without even receiving an Uber, like just a full buff pyro just sitting here, like you just can't do anything at all. So the stronger play is to Uber up the slope with any sort of advantage, preferably a sniper pick or a demo pick. The goal of the Uber is not to be to kill the gun or anything, it's just to force them to go backwards through the shutter. Once they're in that shutter, this point is pretty much won. We can kill the gun for free if it's either to the right here, to the left here, or in the shutter, and we just hold this high ground as we let our cappers push and stuff. A couple of times I've seen engineers do bait guns that are like on the tracks here to like delay a little bit, and that's especially when they would put the gun over on that area there. If that happens, we just need to chill for our cart pushers. You should just be sitting here waiting for the gun to die, and then once the gun dies, then you can just come through and push this in. Spidey cloak spots are kind of an issue when you're pushing the cart, because you got like this corner here. Watch for that shit. Watch for shit there. Watch for shit all up here. On first, it's pretty much the exact same decloak spots. And yeah, that's pretty much it for second. We'll probably figure out some other stuff as time goes on. So yeah, now talking about third. Generally speaking, since the points here are so far apart, it's very, very viable to do a forward hold on third, especially. The preferred forward hold spot is in lockers here, and this this is new-ish. This light area here, we just call this light versus lockers. You can forward hold in this spot because a lot of combos aren't going to be wanting to push tracks here. They're going to want to push into here because this allows them a sniper sight line, which was one of the dumbest sniper sight lines ever. I don't know if it's still here, but no, they fixed it. Okay, so that's generally speaking how teams are going to want to push this first. They want to take this lights and locker area first. So defending, you can hold this for a little bit, let our engineer get set up. The engineer setup spot should be on this corner. We can try doing shit that's like up here or like here, but like it's just, since this hill, it's got nerfed slightly because this is the only rollback zone, but it still has a rollback zone. If you just have a level 3 gun here with a heavy, and your demo man's playing here spamming the gun, and now there's no dumb sniper sightline to get peeked from over here, like it's just ridiculously strong to hold this platform right here. The only issue when doing that is this tunnel here. You really only need one person to be watching this, and I think last time we played this, we had our soldier watching this, because you just spam 2 rockets down, and anything that's down there has to leave immediately. But yeah, the other issue is so let's say we have given up our forward hold here, which we should do pretty frequently because you can get really easily boxed in from tracks. The biggest thing you're going to want to do is make sure that a sniper doesn't come up here, and if their combo comes up here, you want to make sure that this is called as well, because this is major spookers if their combo is playing up here and there's nothing, it's not called. Can you get on that? Oh dear, you can get on this. I don't think that really does anything. But a spy could jump on there. Watch out for that. Alright, friends. What else for third? Yeah, so generally speaking, if we wipe them on tracks, for example, we should immediately start trying to rotate through here to get another forward hold going, because it's just good to have that happening. And then once they commit through tracks, for example, then we rotate back. And we don't rotate this way. This is a sniper sight line. It's pretty dumb. We rotate this way around. You can rotate all the way around, but the big thing, you can probably drop off of that drop down here. If the flank goes behind here, we do not care one fucking asshole if their flank is here. If we're getting shot from rockets right here, like we'll be able to shoot them a shit ton. Like we don't care. All that matters is the cart. If we can keep the cart focused down, their flank members can do fuck all behind us. I honestly do not care. If they're starting to spawn camp people, then it's like okay, yeah, that's kind of spookers. But if they're just like farting about over here, like peeking this and like shooting 2 rockets, then I honestly do not care. We should, our sole focus is this cart, because this cart is extremely hard to push up this area when you're hard holding this. The big thing about hard holding this though is it's very easy to wipe, especially when you're leaving. So ideally we will have Uber and we leave with Uber. But if we don't and we wipe, that is totally fine, because like I said before, look at how long this cart track has to go before it even starts to threaten fourth. It's nuts. So it's not that big of a deal if we wipe on this point. Alright, so now talking about pushing in this very hard to push third point. As I said before, as you could guess from defense, our main objective is going to be to push the cart up this hill, while simultaneously doing pressure from up on these parts over here. If we can get combo pressure from up here while also having cart pressure, it's very easy for us to push this cart up. I don't really want our flank to bother too much with pressuring this area here. I'd rather have you guys be helping to secure this area over here, not necessarily going behind, because if we can get good pressure from around these rocks, they're going to wipe on this point. Once they wipe, it's pretty much an insta GG for this point. So yeah, we want to be pressuring this area here. If they're doing the forward hold, we just go tracks. Just don't bother pushing them unless we have Uber ad. If we have Uber ad, then yeah, you can Uber into here. You just have to be wary of a pyro and shit like that. But that's not really the big deal. I would say go tracks more, because from tracks they have this good spam angle here and shit, and you can catch them if they're dumb and rotating this way instead of up that way. Even if they rotate up this way, it's very easy to just bomb very fast, get above these rocks and shoot them. So yeah, I would prefer to go tracks here, and also because their sniper is probably going to be holding there with them here. And if their sniper is alone here, this is a quick pick if the sniper is alone. The issue is if they're holding passive in here, if they're not holding aggressive on their forward hold, and their sniper plays here. This used to be a very dumb sight line. Now I guess this is the solution. This is not as scary, but if the sniper's sitting here with a full buff, we probably need to do a coordinated play on that. Have 88 and June do some sort of shenanigans there, because their combo is going to be looking here. Heavy usually will just play around here. They're not going to peek a sight line like that. But yeah, that's what I would say. Once we break in this forward hold here, then like I said, we push to the rocks. If they're underneath house here with anything, that should die immediately. We have to kill the gun. That's the objective of any Uber here. If we can kill the gun for free, that's okay, but like it's not that big a deal compared to killing the gun with the Uber. Because once the gun is killed with an Uber, like I, for example, can walk up here and just start shredding kids that are up here. Our flank members can be pushing cart. We can start pressuring into their combo for free pretty much post Uber. So killing gun is the only objective with the Uber. If we kill the gun for free, then the Uber's objective is just going to be to create space, push them back out onto tracks if they even live that long. If it's an equal Uber push, I would still say just Uber onto this hill here to kill the gun, and then have the post Uber fight, have our players walk up with the cart on tracks and just shoot anything that's sitting on this area here. Okay. Now fourth is the point that got majorly overhauled in this since the last time it was played in UGC, so I cannot offer guarantees as to how it's going to be played beyond just theory crafting, because as you can see, this whole area is like completely different here. The way this map used to play, at least, is that they... Hold on. First, I need to make sure that they fix this dumb sightline. It looks like they might have fixed this dumb sightline. So snipers can stand on these fences here, and they used to be able to see into last, like players holding like passively in this corner over here. You might want to check that with the second player, see if that's still in, because if that's still in, then that's really dictates how you want to hold this last. So holding this last before, it used to be you'd have a gun up on either of these areas or this area here. Then you have your combo like playing around here, or if you didn't fully wipe on third, or like you've pushed them out, this is a good forward hold zone right here. You hold it forward on this part here, and yeah. So this I think that might be. Oh no, that's way too low. Okay, so yeah, definitely hold forward up here if possible. This should be the meta spot for holding forward, with the gun behind you, either on this or on this. It's pretty much just any typical last point. You have high ground advantage. There's a flank that you're gonna have to be rotating between to make sure that a scout or soldier or any sort of dumb shit doesn't just get through for free, because both of those classes can actually, can any class movement? Yes, any class can movement up to here now. And they can also sit here and stuff. This is a much more open and harder to hold, it looks like. So actually, I don't even know if this forward hold is going to be viable anymore with how easy it is to get behind there uncalled, because that whole cliff area is now no longer seeable, and how open it is for them to get in. So it might actually be this is the meta spot to hold right here. Yeah, because you don't really have too bad of a sight line. For a meta could stand like over here, for example, or back here with their sniper. Have a gun still sitting main-ish. You can put the gun... Wazda, you fuck! Put the gun here-ish. I don't even know if this is no-builded. People talked about no-building this. But, yeah, try doing a hold here, and then try doing a traditional hold, which is in IT area. And this, you're gonna have to come up with a name for this area here. Like, because this needs to have its own name between just this part here and then the drop-down. This could probably be drop-down. Because if players get up here, they spawn camp. And that's a very big deal. We've lost many rounds to the spawn camp here before. Okay. What else? So pushing, again, I don't know what to do. Generally speaking, in the past, the play was if they're forward holding here, we would push tracks. Just watch out for the heavy there. You either push tracks or you push through here. You can have fix this? No. You can have players movement up onto here from there, or you can just do a jump to here, very strong. Have your demo man be playing here and shooting the players that are down there. And then once they've rotated out, then you can... Committing through here is kind of sweaty because you have to cross through this big old sight line. So we never really did that. It was mainly just, we would sit here, spam this shit out, and then once they got pushed back into their spawn area, then we would push from here into cart area. If they're forward holding, you can take the Uber into them, or you can go tracks. I don't really know. I can't guarantee how this is going to play out anymore, because I haven't fucking played it, because there's a whole new area here. This is just theory. But if I could theory craft if their combo is holding here, I would say just go tracks. Pushing tracks or this part right here might be okay. You just worry about a sniper right here. But like I said, you can every class can make this jump. This jump here, you can do that, and then just drop down onto tracks, and then you're wrapping them from this area here. Or if they're hard holding that, then you can go through IT. Another viable option. I would actually say don't go tracks if they're hard holding that, because this is a little bit too spam malicious. This is a little safer. The demo man can't easily spam this corner as much. And yeah, this would be the safest spot, because if they're hard holding their demo man, it would have to come out to like here to start hitting you. Yeah, And then we would have to start coming out to here to start hitting you. So I would say that, again, this area here is the safest place to push out of by far. Just do the movement to get up there and do that. If they're hard holding IT, you can take an Uber into them IT, or you can just go tracks. Whatever. Where does this go again? I already forgot. Oh yeah, this is kind of a meme. Flank players can come in here and get behind you guys, especially if they're holding this new area here. It's pretty easy for a defensive player to run over to here and stuff uncalled because of this giant cliff if they're just hugging it like that. So yeah, that's pretty much this map. Good luck in scrims on Saturday. I'll be there Sunday though because I'm not a totally bad gamer. And yeah, that's just about it. Peace out and enjoy your Saturdays.